Welcome to my channel. I'm Cheryl Janeen. So launching is one of my specialties. It's something that I've been doing for a long time with clients, just helping them create a better experience for selling their offers. Now, launching can be daunting for some people. It can be overwhelming. It can be, some type of burnout feeling that you get while you're doing it and afterwards and all that, but it doesn't have to be. And I think that happens because some people have certain goals that they want to reach and they're doing all the things. And the goals are okay, but when you're doing all the things, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I would say, no matter what your goals are with the launch, hire somebody to help you on the back end, because you have to stay visible for some time. And if you're trying to do things on the front end with visibility and things on the back end, that can lead to burnout. And it really makes you not want to launch again, or it makes you not want to launch for a very long time because you're still recovering from the first launch, right? Have somebody, hire a VA. You can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr, hiremymom.com, onlinejobs.ph. Find you an assistant or get somebody from your network to recommend someone, which is what I do because I had my share of bad assistants. Get somebody from your network to recommend someone that you can use during your launch, okay? They can help with the administrative tasks. They can help with communication if you need to do that with messages, meetings, things like that. But behind the scenes work, you should not be doing every single thing when you're launching, okay? And you also need to focus on your self-care. Plenty of water, eating right, things like that, because like I said, it can be a process. You definitely want to be on point throughout the entire process, pre-launch, post-launch, and during the entire thing. And you also want to get your rest because you need to reset and recharge often. So plenty of rest is very important. Make sure you're taking care of your body. Even having a routine is really good, like a morning routine or something like that. That's really good because it gets you centered, and whether it's meditation, whether it's something that you enjoy doing, but it really gets you on point and it helps you throughout this entire process. Trust me, you want something in place so that you can stay grounded and feel safe, basically. All right. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Now, for this particular video, I want to talk to you about client attraction. And this is mostly for your pre-launch. We'll talk about the other stuff later, but your pre-launch is very important because you're warming people up. You're getting them familiar with you, and they're getting to know you on a more intimate level. Okay. This is important because when you launch, you want them ready to buy. There are 4 parts to this client attraction, this puzzle type of thing. The first thing is educational content. So educational content is the how-to content, okay? Like I can tell you how I built an email list of 12,000 people from summits, right? I'm telling you the process. I'm telling you what I did. And I'm educating you on how you can do this as well, okay? This is very important that you put this in there because it gives you credibility, but it also positions you as that expert, as that person that they need to be in tune with. Okay, so educational content mixed in with everything else makes so much sense during your pre-launch. Okay, it gets people listening and it attracts them. They want to, it's an attention grabber. They want to be, they want to tune in. They want to know how you did this thing. Okay, so that's very important, is your educational content. The next thing is your persuasive content or your perspective shift. Okay, so persuasion, perspective shift. Now, this is something like you telling people a certain thing on how you see it, and you're painting that picture for them in your way because you're trying to get them to shift their perspective on this particular thing. This may be something they're going through, right? They don't understand how to look at it another way. And now you're giving them another way to look at it. So essentially, here's the difference between the educational content and the perspective shift. Now, if I say something like Facebook and Instagram are always glitching, this is why you need to build an email list. So then I start to educate you on the reasons why. Okay. Now, if I want to shift your perspective on something, I can say something like, I hear that summits are a lot of work. What's a lot of work is you posting every single day. And then I can go into my spill on what I think about that. Right. And when I do that, I'm actually shifting whatever you're thinking and getting it out of your mindset about looking at it in a different way, looking at it from a different lens. Don't look at this as a lot of work. Look at this in this way, because this is why it's going to benefit you. This is why it's going to be effective for you if you do this. Okay. So that's the difference between the educational content and the persuasive or the perspective shift type of content. Okay, so those are the first two. The third thing is the call to action. There should always be a call to action when you're posting, especially during your launch, whether you're driving them to some sort of mini course, whether you're driving them to a digital product, you might drive them to some type of lead magnet. And I would suggest a lead magnet, because a lot of times people don't want to buy right away, but you can absolutely get them on your email list if you put out a lead magnet, right? You can get the lead, get them in your funnel, and then market to them later. So always use social media as a tool for doing that, because you can, once you get them in your funnel, you can always promote at a later time. All right. But your content has to work for you. You're not just posting to be posting, you're posting for a reason. And that reason needs to be driving people to the next step with you. So there should always be a call to action. Click this link, go here, book a call with me, something. You have to tell people what to do. They're not just going to do it. You have to tell people what to do. It's like holding their hand through the process once they meet you. One of the things that I will say about call to action is a call to action starts way before you say, click this link or go here to book a call or do the thing. It starts way before that. So you have to understand how to position your content to transition from one phase to the next. Okay, so the phases of content is you probably telling a story. And after your story, you're talking about the offer. And then you're using an identity shift and you're going into a call to action from that. Okay, it's an easy transition. It's nothing hard, but it starts way before you tell them to click a link. Okay, so but just make sure that you are having the call to action, because like I said, you have to tell people what to do next, because they're just not going to do it on their own. And the last thing is something I call turn on events. You know how you turn people on. And this is what you're doing in your pre-launch phase. You're turning people on. You're getting their attention. This is why I told you in the beginning about hiring somebody to do stuff on the back end, because your visibility is so important during this phase. It's insane. And I don't mean that you have to go crazy. You can go crazy if you want to. Some people go live a few times a day. Some people do it once a day. Some people do it a couple times a week. You can do it as many times as you want or as often as you want, but you want to be able to give them that live experience with you. And turn on events are the thing that does that. Okay, live streams. You can go live on every platform. Okay, there's ways to do that. You use something like StreamYard, you can do multiple platforms at one time. Wherever you have a following, you want to show up live sometimes because they want to see your face, they want to interact with you. This is great. You're building relationship. Okay, you're communicating with them. It's effective. It's building that relationship with them. And when you're ready to launch, then you got people that want to buy. Okay, they're already warmed up to you now. Okay, so you've done all the things. You're using your content in a way that helps you with your actual launch and your post-launch, because you're taking the time to continue to be visible, to stay in their faces, and you're staying on their minds, and you're doing this every single day. Okay, I don't care if you go live every day. You don't have to, but you got to do something every single day to stay on people's minds, because it's always an out of sight, out of mind type of thing. We know how social media is. We know how all this stuff works. And we know how saturated all the noise. We know all the noise that exists. You got to stay in their face. So the pre-launch is so very important, and turn on events. Yeah. Even if you do a free workshop, even if you do that, it makes all the sense in the world, because like I said, they will get that experience with you and that connection with you before you actually launch. Okay, so you can get your entire launch done within 4 weeks if you really want to. So week 1 is your pre-launch. You're doing your content, you're engaging, you're drawing them in with storytelling, also the perspective shifts and educational content like we talked about. Week 2 is also your pre-launch. You can do early bird pricing. So if your original price is going to be $97, put it at $47, put it at $27 for a workshop, okay? Week 3, you actually launch. Now your offer is at the original price that is supposed to be. And week 4 is your final pricing. You want to send out a few emails. Your cart is closing. So the urgency, it needs to happen like this. Okay. Send out those emails, get people buying last minute. And that's it, right? That's it. Is that really it? No, it's not. You have to do stuff on the post launch too. Okay. So we'll talk about that in a later video, all the things, because during your launch, you might see some dips in your sales, and I'm going to show you how to get those boosted back up, and also what to do on your post launch. All right. So be sure to subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know the next time I do a video. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time.